We do want to transition to President Trump suspending his threat to impose tariffs on Mexico. The two countries reaching an agreement on dealing with migrants at the southern border. ABC's White House correspondent Tara Palmieri is on the North Lawn with the very latest. Tara, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. It's been a tense couple of days over here. Negotiators have been scrambling since President Trump threatened to slap tariffs on Mexican goods. They were worried it could cause an economic crisis, not just affecting U.S. businesses, but also consumers on everything from the price of cucumbers to car parts. Overnight, the president backing down on his threat to slap tariffs on Mexican goods after Mexico agreed to new measures to stop the flow of migrants through the U.S. southern border.
They're letting millions of people walk up through their country.
After touching down in Washington, Trump tweeting that the 5% tax on Mexican goods set to take effect on Monday are, quote, hereby indefinitely suspended. Mexico and U.S. officials emerging with the deal late Friday night after 3 days of frantic negotiations. Mexico agreeing to a show of force, sending 6,000 troops to its southern border with Guatemala.
Mexico will take unprecedented steps to increase enforcement to curb irregular migration.
The Mexican government also vowing to crack down on human trafficking and smuggling networks.
Those crossing the U.S. southern border to seek asylum will be rapidly returned to Mexico, where they may await the adjudication of their asylum claims.
The 11th hour deal comes to the president face opposition from his own party.
Well, there is not much support in my conference for tariffs, that's for sure.
Trump threatened to increase the tariffs every month by 5% until they reached 25%, or until Mexico took steps to curb the flow of migrants. Both Democrats and Republicans feared U.S. consumers would bear the brunt of the costs.
And Tara Palmieri is back with us from the White House. And Tara, we've seen President Trump touting this deal on Twitter, but he didn't get everything he wanted.
That's right, Whit. President Trump originally demanded that all asylum seekers from Central America apply for asylum in Mexico and not the U.S., but Mexico managed to skirt that part of the deal. President Trump also promised on Twitter that Mexico would buy more U.S. agricultural products, but that language never made it in the deal either. Whit?
All right, tell Tara Palmieri at the White House. Thank you.
Whit and Tara, thank you both. A lot to talk about here. So let's bring in a ringer, ABC News chief political analyst Matthew Dowd, who joins us from Texas. Matthew, good morning. The president faced a lot of criticism from both parties for threatening tariffs. But this new deal, even though he didn't get everything he wants, it really looks like it could be spun as a victory. So what say you?
Well, I think you could spin it right now as an apparent success, but two things related to it, I think. It's first is we often know that what the president says happened or what he says was promised doesn't actually follow through. We remember full well all his conversation related to North Korea. It doesn't often come through the way it's supposed to happen. And I'll give you a Golden State reference in this. Just because Steph Curry hits a three-point shot in Game 2, it doesn't mean he's won the series. And there's a lot more things that have to happen related to our economy, related to other trade relations with other foreign countries, and specifically related to Mexico, as I say, from how they follow through. So a lot more to go on this path towards success.
And there are signs of late that our economy is slowing down. Though let me stay on this immigration issue. I want to show you some numbers that appear to be on the president's mind as he threatens tariffs against Mexico. 144,000 migrants were stopped at the southern border in May alone. That puts the U.S. on track to reach 1 million migrants stopped at the border this year. That would be double last year's number. So cutting down on illegal immigration, as we all know, was a huge campaign issue for the president in 2016. If he doesn't bring these numbers back down, do you think that's going to hurt him with his base in 2020, or is he bulletproof there?
Well, I think that's the real question. I don't think it'll lessen his margin among the base. I think he's got a pretty solid third of the country in this. But I think it's a question of how motivated they'll be if the signature thing that he campaigned on and this signature thing he said he wanted to do in his course of presidency, he hasn't been successful. And he hasn't built that many, as we know, he hasn't built that many miles of wall as he promised in this. So I think, one, in 2020, and we're a long way away, he's going to be judged on that signature promised and whether or not he did stop the flow of illegal immigration, and he's going to be judged on the state of the economy. And both of those things, I think, are in question as we head into 2020.
Matthew Dowd, always great to see you on a Saturday morning. Thank you very much, sir.
Great to be here.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.